Welcome to Tell You Later, the show about everything and nothing. And now, here they are, Will Ryan and Katie Leigh.
Sincere thanks to all those who support us on Patreon. See the full list at the end of the show. By the way, there's always room for more.
I'm Snowman, and when I'm not doing impressions, I'm watching Tell You Later.
We haven't got a title song for this show, so we're singing this thing instead.
Okay.
It's really just a substitute. Nonetheless, the melody may stay in your head.
Oh, I hope so.
'Cause it's a tune.
It's a tune.
You'll love to croon.
You'll love to croon.
But there's one thing you should know. We have to confess we do not possess a title song for this show.
Ain't it peculiar?
Believe it or not, we haven't got a title song for this show.
Oops. Welcome back to Tell You Later with my special guest, Townsend Coleman. We're just talking about blemishes. And no, well,
those unsightly blemishes, you know,
remember,
the pimple on prom night that you get right
yeah,
there.
remember that commercial? I'm a lonely pimple, as lonely as can be. Don't cry, pimple, I'll keep you company. Do you remember this?
No.
Hey, brother pimple, will three be a crowd? All together, pimples, sing real loud. Wow! It was like for Clearasil or something.
So they were singing,
that was a commercial.
Singing and dancing pimples.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
like how they spread and all that. But
I love that.
yeah, okay.
Can you imagine
But
being
you know-
on the pitch for that commercial? Okay, so we're gonna have these singing
pimples.
Yeah, and they're gonna sing, and they're gonna be blemishes dancing all over the face.
They
And they're gonna talk all about how they spread. And
I don't know if it was on
and the
camera
greasy,
or
dirty
radio.
oh,
But I'm going to look it up because now you can find all your old commercials and stuff. And we'll talk about that. But first, I want to thank all our patrons who've been so supportive during this time. I'm thankful that you're here.
thank you.
And
I'm
sharing
thankful
your
too.
stories so we can sort of celebrate what Will's meant to us and talk about how he's, influenced us and then what happened after that. So
Influenced and inspired.
Yeah.
Will was always a great inspiration to virtually anybody who
we're
worked
talking
with
about
him.
our co-host, Will Ryan, who
Yep.
we started the show with.
Yep,
Yes.
yep. And unfortunately, we lost Will just recently, and that was a huge loss for not only us personally, but for our community. And because Will was really a trailblazer, I think, because he was a genuine Renaissance man, wasn't he?
Yes.
I can't think of anybody else that I know who was more of a true Renaissance man than Will Ryan was, and he was so talented and so smart, and
And gentle.
in a way, intimidatingly so. But because he was so gentle, you never felt, well, at least I never felt, stupid around him. I was just always fascinated, absolutely fascinated by all the stuff that he managed to park in his brain somehow, right? Because he was a walking, talking encyclopedia.
Pretty much. Which is why we started this show. Even I had a little segment, What's in Katie's Lunchbox? I figured whatever I pulled out, it could be an envelope, it could be...
He was going to have
he'll
a story
have
about
something
it.
to say about it, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, this is in great tribute to Will, because Will was really instrumental in my life early on, and one of the cool things, because Will, as we had talked about before, was instrumental in getting me to move out to Los Angeles. Once I moved out here, and I ended up breaking into cartoons just by a fluke. One of the very early cartoons I worked on with Will.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a show called Teen Wolf, and I played the lead in that, Scott Howard, who was the Teen Wolf. And
You're a werewolf?
I was a werewolf.
How did you howl? Did you howl? It was very good.
Yeah, actually.
You still got it.
I still got it, baby.
Whoa, Wolfman Jack, look out.
Wolfman Jack. yeah, and Will was on the show,
Well, yeah.
along with June Foray.
Wow.
June played my grandmother.
And that was your first show? That's
It wasn't
pretty...
my first one. It was one of the
The
very
lead.
early shows that I did, and especially as the lead.
That's
yeah.
so fun.
Yeah, so getting to work with Will it was great fun. And then I got a chance to do, a number of years later, the voice of a little character named Tom Fool, who was like he was almost like the narrator going through, who was through the story of Alice Through the Looking Glass.
I'm going to look for these pictures, so hopefully we'll be able to show what these characters
Yeah,
are.
and Alice Through the Looking Glass was one of the very first animated features of the story, and had really a star-studded cast. And I'm not saying that because I was in it. I was the least of these so-called stars. But I mean, we had Phyllis Diller, Jonathan Winters, Mr. T.
Isn't that the best?
It was they, and I think Will had something to do with the casting too.
Really?
Yeah, because he wrote all the music for it and did one of the characters in it, and it was just a fascinating and fun project to do. But so I got to sing 2 of Will's songs.
I was going to ask you if you are a singer, because I figured you are a singer too, probably.
I'm a singer-ish.
Singing
Okay,
character?
I'm a singer light. Yes, I can sing in character, is what it is. But I do not consider myself a singer. I can sing well enough to sing.
You can sing if they pay you.
I can sing if they pay me.
We can sing if you pay us.
And I'll sing Happy Birthday.
Yeah.
But
How fun. So you got to sing 2 songs.
two of Will's songs.
Yeah.
That was so crazy. And, Katie, last week, well, I don't know when this is going to come out, but shortly before Will passed away, and we got a chance to go visit him at the hospital, I have on my phone those 2 songs. And so I was able to play them for Will, and to see just the joy on his face. And he listened, he was rapt. I mean, completely ensnared by, this image on my phone, and listening to these songs that he'd written. And he was going like this.
Yeah.
And singing along with them. It was beautiful. Yeah, and then of course getting to work with Will on Adventures in Odyssey you and he were in it from the very beginning.
Right. Well, I met you at the Voice Caster. I think that's where I first met you. A place.
Well, in our first job, because where I remember meeting you was not at the Voice Caster, but I remember meeting you working on Glow Friends Save Christmas.
Right. We worked together. But I would see you. We'd go to this place called the Voice Caster to audition.
Right.
And Townsend, who I like to refer to as Dorian Gray, who looked like he was 18, and Seth told me, you probably don't even remember this, he had 4 kids. I'm like, what? How is that even possible? Because you always just represent quite well. And he just, this young guy, couldn't believe he had this family. So, yeah, and we talked in passing over there. We didn't work together, but yeah, and then Glow Friends, that what Pat Fraley used to like to refer to as Glow Maggots.
Glow Maggots.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's Pat.
Right. But do you remember that first session that we worked on, the Glow Friends Save Christmas? And you remember Carol O'Connor played Santa?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you remember Lorenzo Music playing that moose? And do you remember, just a quick voiceover story here, because this is so indicative of our business, but Lorenzo was...
Lorenzo Music, did he do Garfield's?
He was Garfield.
Garfield's voice. He also was an amazing writer and musician, too.
Right.
He created the
Carl,
Rhoda Show.
And he was Carlton the Doorman.
And he created Rhoda.
On Rhoda, right.
Yeah.
And so he had a very distinctive, unique voice.
One voice.
That's all he did. So at this session, he has to play this moose. And of course, everybody who knows him figures he's just going to be Lorenzo Music doing this moose, which is what he did. And when he opened his mouth at the recording session to do this character, it's like everybody busted up, because you just knew that that's what this moose was going to sound like. Well, then you hear the talkback come from the control room, and it's the writer or the producer the director, saying, yeah, that's good, but could you sound more moose-like? And everybody just looked at each other and said, more moose-like? He's Lorenzo
I could hear
Music.
Lorenzo go, Mo.
Yeah, so he tried to lower it. He tried to make it higher. He tried to just switch it up somehow. But Lorenzo Music had one voice. It's like all he did. It's like you don't ask Lorenzo Music to try and switch it up and sound more moose-like. Yeah, and then they did the exact same thing with Carroll O'Connor. Because Carroll O'Connor, as Archie Bunker, of course, I don't know if you remember this, but when he did his first read-through, he did it like he was Archie Bunker.
Oh, how, as Santa?
As Santa. Yeah, and everybody busted up. We were all like, yeah. Eat it.
Ho, ho,
Eat
ho.
it. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. And it was hilarious. And, of course, I was hoping that's how he would end up doing it. And, of course, they said, no, could you be more Santa-like? And you go, why do you get Carroll O'Connor to do something when... So the voice he ended up doing was just a real vanilla, generic Santa, ho, 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 you know. And
but his name was associated with the show,
Exactly.
and that is even more important these days.
And that was the selling point.
Yeah.
Yep. So... Anyway, that was
But that's-
Girlfriend Save Christmas.
That's what
how-
kind of the fun part of our job, though, especially when we were starting out and having celebrities come in, and all of a sudden we're all working together, and it's a very level playing field, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Glow Friends Save Christmas, and then they did a series, but they don't really have our names in the credits on that show. Have you? Because we were trying to figure out. Well, we're on there. We're on there, but it doesn't say which bug we were, which glow bug. You know,
Yeah.
you can't.
Do you remember which glow bug you were?
No.
You don't?
Do you?
Yeah, I was.
What? You do
'cause
not.
Yeah, I do, because I wasn't a glow bug. I was the dragonfly.
Oh.
I was a. Yeah, I had to
that's
do.
awesome.
Do you remember? I had to do that.
That's so good. You have a good memory.
Why, thank you.
You have a very good memory.
Thanks.
All I remember is I thought I need to get Townsend on Adventures in Odyssey, and I bugged you for a long time
Yeah, you did.
until it finally happened. And actually, you know the reason it happened. I'm gonna have to give Mr. Willio a little credit, Billy from Cleveland, because he was very instrumental in turning our show into a union gig.
I know he was.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was like solely responsible, I think.
him and Paul Hurlinger.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had something to do with it, but he was a big part of it. And I won't tell that story now. Maybe I'll tell you later some other time. But
Tell you later. You see what she just did?
I just flipped that in there. I just flipped that in there. Yep. Oh, now I lost my... Wait a minute. My train of thought has been derailed. Hold
I
on.
was wondering when this would figure prominently into this story.
It's for my train of thought. Oh, so Odyssey. So then finally...
Oh, look at me.
You have a sticker on you. Were you made in
I was made in China.
China?
Right there.
Oh. Well, that's...
Nobody ever told me that.
How about
And,
that?
yeah, and these aren't the days to start making jokes about that, so I'm
No,
not
so
gonna.
let's move on. However, so that's what got you on Odyssey. So when you were able to participate, you did. And that was a huge coup for me because I love working with my friends
Yeah,
and people that I admire. And I think we can say on the show we share the same faith.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's pretty awesome.
yep.
And of course, Odyssey, people appreciate that very much
Yeah,
too.
yeah. And that was 1994
So,
is when I started on the show.
wow.
Because Hal Smith had passed away, and they didn't think they were going to replace Whit.
Right.
So they created two new characters: the character of Jason, who's Whit's son, and then Whit's boyhood friend Jack Allen, who was voiced by Alan Young.
And that
so
was
we
great.
were the two characters that were supposed to replace Whit, the younger, impulsive, adventuresome
And
side.
Connie thought you were very cute. I have to say.
Well, Connie had good taste. What can I
Yes,
say?
and I know a lot of the fans would say, "Hey, why didn't?" Because everybody wants Connie to get together with somebody,
Right.
But apparently your character's way too old for me.
Well, I think he is. Yeah. and now he's near 90.
It's really hard to tell. In Odyssey land, it's a crazy mixed up
Wait a
timeline.
second. So is Jason still 32? Really?
I don't know, but you still sound 32, and that's the main thing. So speaking of sounding,
Yes.
I understand that you can sound like one of the original Ninja Turtles because you were one.
Dudette, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because all I have to say to you is you are like totally mondo bodacious.
Whoa!
Come on, little turtle high 3, right here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And you got to give it to me with a cowabunga. All right? Here we go. She's going to do it. I can feel it in my bones. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Cowabunga! Dude, whoa, that was awesome.
You know, do you think, let me ask you. Now,
Ask away.
let's be very objective.
Yes, indeed.
Do you possibly think that Crush was patterned after your character on the Turtles? Crush from Finding Nemo? Is that what, Crush the Turtle?
Oh, somebody, yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but somebody has mentioned that to me before, and I have no idea. Because I understand he sounds...
Does your turtle have a last name?
No, no, it could, maybe it was Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Probably that's it. Michelangelo.
Well, that was his middle name.
But that's what Crush talks like. And by the way, when you go to Disneyland next time, if you've never been to Turtle Talk at California Adventure, you must go. That's like the best thing there.
Like the best ripoff?
No, it's really awesome.
Oh, it is.
You go in this theater, and the turtle comes on screen and talks to people in the audience, and a bad imitation of you, but Crush, and it's the coolest experience. It's interactive.
Wow.
It's an amazing thing.
Wow.
I think some of the voice actors we work with actually have done Crush's voice at Disney, at California Adventure. Really? Yeah, they kind of get their voiceover or their gig,
their wings,
or their basic income from doing that.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think now that I think about it, I think they totally ripped off your voice.
Well, I should go down and ask some questions.
I think we should investigate. But if you think that Crush is a well, imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Which
we know that. I've heard. But imitating Michelangelo, exactly. That's so cool. But because there was no other character like that on TV, was there?
Not back then. Not in 1987, no.
There's a little Spicoli based.
Little Spicoli. That's exactly what they said. They wanted...
from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, in case you don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, the Sean Penn character. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So how did you get that job?
Normal ways?
Normal ways?
Just the way we usually get all our jobs. I got an audition for it. Actually, I first heard about it because I was doing a show called Fraggle Rock at the time. I was...
which we did at Marvel, which also produced Muppet Babies.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I was the voice of Gobo on Fraggle Rock. And
what does that sound like? I'm making...
Wembley, your rock dust allergies all in your head. We're gonna go exploring in outer space with my Uncle Traveling Matt.
Can you tell I totally fangirl? Yeah. Say Spoon.
Spoon. Oh, now this is a different character
I
altogether.
know. Okay, well, wait.
I am the Tick Spoon.
I think I might be one of your biggest fans.
Yeah, well, don't count your weasels before they pop, dink.
Well, Kimmy Robertson was on, just to digress a little bit. Kimmy came on, and she worked on the Tick with you.
She did. She was
She was talking about that.
Oh,
yes.
I loved working with Kimmy on that show.
And she works on Odyssey with us now, too.
Woo! Yes.
Woo! When worlds collide.
And all because of Katie Leigh. Katie, you pull strings down there.
I've been told Kimmy's not because of me, even though I thought it was because of me.
Oh, really? Yeah. And it wasn't, huh?
No, well, Paul McCusker wrote that part with her in mind. He
cool.
actually imagined her being the Pennywise. But I begged them not to have her be a bad guy because I loved working with her so much.
Right.
And he says, once we heard her, we decided we'd keep her. But I don't know. I kept saying, please, please, please you keep her on the show. Connie needs a friend. We could be roommates. And Kimmy, I don't know if I ever told you this. Kimmy goes, yeah. She said, I want to be Connie's roommate so I can help her pick out her clothes. Which is like a really random thing.
But it's classic Kimmy, isn't it?
I loved it. So, okay, so so back to the turtles.
Oh yeah, so I was doing Fraggle Rock, and the voice director on Fraggle Rock was a guy named Stu Rosen.
Yes.
And Stu came into one of our recording sessions one day. He says, "You guys aren't going to believe what I'm going to be casting and directing next." He opens his briefcase, pulls out a comic book, and it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and none of us had ever heard of it
Was
before.
Rob Paulson on that show too?
Rob was on the show, and yeah, we all looked at the comic book and sort of shook our heads and said, "Yeah, well, good luck with that." And yeah, but he brought us in to audition for it, and I read for all 4 turtles, as did Rob and Barry and Cam. And so they cast us. They knew that Rob was going to be Raphael. They knew that Barry was going to be Donatello, but they hadn't decided whether Cam was going to be Michelangelo or Leonardo yet, and same with me. And they were just going to make that final decision at the first session. So we show up to our first recording session, and Stu says to me, he says, "Townie, why don't you do Michelangelo first? Cam, you do Leonardo first. We'll do our first pass that way, and then we'll do another pass."
And that happens a lot, folks. And people ask us about voiceover. You coach voiceover. You teach up north and other places, I'm sure. And it's really important in animation. And I'm looking at our intern, Drew, who wants to do voiceover, to be able to do multiple voices and to be able to change on the spot, because you've got 4 turtles. They want to make them all sound different from each other. They can ask you to pitch it up, pitch it down, find something different. You don't want to lose your job, so you got to come up with a voice that'll keep you there, right?
That'll hook you, right?
So...
yeah, so I did Michelangelo first. Cam did Leonardo first.
To enjoy the full episode, please support us at patreon.com/tellyou-later. Thanks a lot. Oh my goodness, there's so much more. I guess we'll have to tell you later.
Tell You Later is a Patreon-driven entertainment show. So what are you waiting for? Come on over. Join us at patreon.com/TellYouLater.
Say, Will, there are words to that tune?
Sure enough are, Westy, and they go like this. My horse likes accordion music. That's his kind of stuff. Yes, my horse likes accordion music. He just can't get enough. So if you don't like accordion music, I'll sympathize with you. But my horse likes accordion music, so I do too.
Glastonbury Tall Smythe here.
Gardena. Co-hosts of Welcome to Later. And when we're not doing that,
We're watching Tell You Later.
join us, will you?
It's our job, you see.